I'd like to welcome you to the Mazeroff Observatory and invite you to come inside, and I can tell you why I made the choices I made for my beginning astrophotography setup. Come on inside. There we go. There. So I started out with a refractor, small refractor that was given to me in around January of last year. It's now 2024, so in January 2023. And obviously that wouldn't work for photography and stuff, but I did buy an AM5 mount on a tripod. I started out in my backyard, and I got lots of good pictures, but there's a lot more to be seen and done. So let me move the camera over here and do a little more explanation. Okay, to start with, I bought this optical tube system, an RC8, because it was not inexpensive, but didn't break the bank for the size of aperture and actual performance. Very flat, side to side. So anyway, I bought that. It's about $1,400, something like that. A small, good refractor was that much. So why not get a bigger aperture? They say don't do that, start small and get another one and another one. I think that's great for the manufacturers, but I don't know if it's good for the amateur astrophotographer. Yeah, errors are smaller with smaller stuff, but you build bad habits. So I started big. I've had an 8-inch telescope years ago, back in the film days, but now with the new digital astrophotography, amazing things happen. So that was my selection, but there was a lot of other stuff that's needed to do astrophotography. So I'm looking at several things, and one is I knew about putting a computer on the telescope and this and that. Well, I did make a decision that it is difficult, so I bought into the ZWO system. And by that I mean I bought a ZWO camera, focuser, filter wheel, everything ZWO, so it all fit together and would run off a tablet using the ASI Air. So anyway, let's go to the other side of the telescope here and take a look. Okay, and we're gonna go over here. That's a little crooked. Of course, maybe I'm a little crooked myself, I don't know. But yeah. Okay, to start with, I got this AM5 mount, and it's a good mount. It's very portable. I'm getting up there in the years. And I just felt that this mount itself would work very well for me, being lightweight and being able to handle quite a bit of weight. Now, and that's portability, and it will always be a good mount for portable operation. In the observatory, I could probably do without the mount, with the heavier mount, because it's one time, it's mounted and it's solid, but say nonetheless, it's very functional. So, and I think I'm getting pretty fair pictures for starting. So we have that, and of course the heart of the system, let me go right up here. Right up here is the ASI Air. It's a little, basically a Raspberry Pi or Pi-ish device, a little mini computer, so to speak, and everything goes through that and controls it. I think it has done a wonderful job for me, very few problems, and I think when you're just starting, it's probably a good way to go. I mean, it makes things simple. You enter where you are, what you're doing, what you want to photograph, and it just does it. So I'm very happy with my results so far with it, and I have nothing wrong with it, other than the fact that if I have a computer, there's a lot more I can do, because computers, you know, they give you a little bit further, a little bit better. But starting, I highly recommend this, and it works. Okay, let me go right over here, and let's see if I can get a better angle so the lighting might look a little better on it and stuff. Okay, and it's pretty dark, but we'll see what we can do. Guiding. I bought a ASI 120, I believe it is, guide scope, an off-axis guider, which you can focus here, which is nice, but I tell you, I'm not super happy with the performance of the 120. It's minimal. It does work. One of the first changes I'm going to make is I'm going to the 174, much bigger field, and probably work a lot better. So this is going to be changed. This focuser here, ZWO autofocus. Well, if I go back to start over, when I bought this telescope, an RC8, and it had a Crayford focuser on it. And, you know, Crayford's okay for visual, especially, but when you start hanging this much stuff at the end of the focuser, I think that, well, this much, I think that that's probably the worst choice that I could have made. So I am doing something a little different. I took the focuser off and I put on a Starlight Express, or Feather Touch, that's it, Feather Touch from Starlight Express. And that focuser has been supreme. So if you're gonna buy like an RC8 or any telescope and put a lot of photographic equipment, you know, back here on it, you may want to reconsider getting anything but a rack and pinion type focuser. So that was the one thing about the scope that I had to change. Other than that, it's been working very well. The focuser here, autofocus, it works great. It could work better, and I think the computerization of it with the regular computer and that's going to help. At least that's my take on it. The filter wheel, this is a 7-position, 36 millimeter, and I bought, instead of buying the kit with the camera, I bought a bigger wheel because that camera's maybe not forever. I'll tell you why in a minute, but first of all, the focuser has been flawless, and it has LRGB filters plus 7 nanometer filters. My deal on that is I think that I'm going to be much better off with going to something in the 3 nanometer category, but that's going to be future. Up here, I have blue tape around it because just to keep any light leaks if I'm doing anything during the day. But if I'm doing anything during the day, I have to block the light. I do have blackout tape that once I go through here, I'm going to, go through here, do a little work on it, and I'll change to the blackout tape. Right now, I'm going to make some adjustments to this and lower the prism down a little more. And then the last piece of the whole thing is the camera. It is a ASI 533 camera, and I could have done, I really wanted a 2600, which is a C-size sensor. This sensor is about a 1/2 inch square. So I'm good for planetaries and small nebulas and getting in tight in nebulas too. But, a C-size sensor is over twice the size, probably 3 times as much area it covers. And so, but at first this is working fine, and I'll continue to use it for quite a while, probably another year before I think about replacing it. So anyway, I've got a couple of, right down here, right here, you see I have these power supplies plugging in, but I have 12 volt right here now. And I have a 12 volt supply right over here, right here, that's hooked up to those. And it's running 14 volts right now. It generally goes 13.9 to 14. So everything's going to be going right to there real soon. I've got some cords on order, and I've already bought a small computer that we're going to try out on here and see how it works. And we're going to switch over to Nina software. And the nice thing is everything comes in when I photograph on this little tablet right here. And so I just take a seat at night, get everything started, and go in the house. Sometimes I come out after a meridian flip and check everything, make sure it did its flip, or maybe change the filters, make sure the new filter's getting stuff. But it's been a simple process. It's worked for me. It will work for you too.